I go home.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chad Westport, and we're back with another episode of Just One Thing. And I've got a favorite grower here today, Jota Herb, and he has been dispensing info longer than I can remember. So he's been around. He's got a lot of great information to share with us. He kind of has the background of the KNF, Korean natural farming, and regenerative practices as well. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. Please say hello, Jota.
How's everybody doing today? I am Jota Herb. You can find me really easily on Instagram at Jota Herb, Jotaherb. And I do love sharing tips to help people grow and learn to grow their own plants in general, cannabis especially.
I brought you in here today to help some new growers get going. Please tell us, what is your one thing you think all new cannabis growers should know about?
Yeah, so my one thing is actually going to be a few things, because I've brought a list of my tips with me that should help any grower who grows anything. And they're really, really important for folks who are just starting out, because these tips will help you not only be successful, but will also help you understand when you had a problem so that you can go back and look at it, right? So my number one tip is to write things down and to keep a journal, right? What you do and when you do it. At a minimum, go buy a big calendar, hang it on the wall, and put a W every time you water.
Yes.
Just as a very beginning. 70% of houseplants die every year from overwatering. So just keeping track of how often you water the plants, not just looking at the plant saying it looks dry, just keeping track, writing it down, what you do when you do it will be a big help, and will help you learn in the future. If you do take good notes, you can go back and refer those notes. What went well? What didn't go well? Things like that. So always keep notes, but definitely at least get a calendar and start putting a W on the calendar every time you water, as a minimum for at least keeping track of how often you're watering your plants. Second tip, don't make too many changes at the same time, because you won't know what worked. If I change, I think a lot of the times we see the plant isn't looking great or is droopy or has some spots, and we want to help. And so we get in there like, well, I'll adjust the light and I'll pour this on it. Maybe I'll add some CalMag and some other things. But then I don't know which one of those things actually fixed the problem. So it's best to do one thing and see what happens. Let the plant respond. If it doesn't respond, try the next thing on your list and then the next thing on your list. Don't do too many things at once, because it'll be hard to figure out what actually worked and what didn't. Okay. Third tip, put in the time. You can't just expect the plants to be fantastic if you don't put in the time and energy to help provide the right environment for them, making sure they're watered, making sure they're getting fed, making sure that the lights are on, right? Sometimes things happen, and if you don't check on your plants, they're going to be ignored, and they're not going to come out as good as they could if you paid attention to them, right? You want them to blossom. You want to give them your energy. I like to check on my plants at least twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, before the lights go out. This way I have a good idea of what's going on with the plants. Okay. Fourth tip, enjoy. Okay. I think a lot of people forget that part of it, right?
Yes.
Read about it, learn about it, follow other growers, learn what they do and how they're doing and all those things. But the most important thing is to enjoy it. One of the things that I really appreciated about growing cannabis legally, once it went legal here in Massachusetts, was the therapeutic benefits you get out of growing a plant.
Huge.
And going in and opening up the tent, all my problems would just disappear and I focus on those plants. And so it's wonderful. So enjoy it, right? You're not getting the full benefit if you're just freaking out about the plant all the time. Fifth, measure your ingredients. Okay. And don't measure your ingredients directly over the water bucket you're trying to mix the ingredients in, right? I'm sitting here and I'm straight. Oh, it all fell in. Oh, okay. Well, measure your ingredients, right? Again, it goes back to that consistency thing, understanding what you're doing to the plants, how they're reacting. If you're not measuring and you're just dumping stuff in, it's going to be hard to know if something goes wrong with the plant. You don't know if it was from what you were doing now, what you did a couple days ago. So it's really important to measure your ingredients and stay consistent in what you're giving the plant and write it down if you can. 6. We were up to 6 already. Keep a checklist of chores, right? In your garden and follow it, right? Because one of the best ways to keep your plants happy and healthy is to keep your environment clean, right?
Yes.
Part of IPM, integrated pest management, is also about environment management, keeping your environment clean. So keeping your floor, the floor, the ground of your tent clean, picking up dead leaves, making sure that there isn't just, stuff just piling up in the corners of your tent or in your room. Keep your space clean. You're growing medicine. In many cases, you should be trying to keep a clean environment for those plants. Okay, number 7, and the final, and probably the most important tip, shouldn't necessarily be 7th on the list, but it is the most important tip, and that's to be patient.
That's a hard one to teach.
It is. It's a really hard one to teach. But as I mentioned earlier, if you see a problem with the plant, it's natural to freak out and react.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to think about what you're doing, apply one change, and then be patient, see how the plant reacts, and then do something else. A lot of the time, people make mistakes by overreacting and putting too much of one thing in there because it looks like I've got a deficiency. So I throw in too much calcium or too much of this, and I actually cause more problems. So the less that we react and the more that we're patient, the better your plants will be. And those works for all plants. It doesn't matter. It's not just cannabis. It works for cucumbers and tomatoes and basil and flowers and all the other things, right, as well, because they're plants. They take time. They're not like gonna immediately start being green or those types of things, right? It takes time. It takes patience for the plants to react, for their biology to work through whatever that issue might be. And so we have to be patient and let the plant respond before we jump at it again. So that's definitely really, really important. And those are my tips. Awesome fun being here with you today, Chad. I really appreciate the space. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for coming, and thank you for sharing with everybody. Again, Instagram, Jota Herb, that'll be down in the notes, and the Future Cannabis Project, FCP02, every Thursday, the Jota Herbs Grow and Tell. If you thought this was fun, check out that show. He goes in depth on a lot of different topics, but he sticks with a similar one each episode. So you're going to learn a lot. It's a great place to kind of like these, but it's in a longer form. So you're going to get a lot of good information. And I've got my pen in my hand. You can't see it right now, but always write things down like Jota Herb is saying, because you think you'll remember, but life gets busy.
Absolutely. Remember, just a big W on the calendar is all it takes to become a better grower.
Well said. Thank you for your time again, Jota Herb. I appreciate that. And we'll catch everybody next time. Party on.
Thank you.
Ah.